What's going on, everybody? This is episode 808 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am Via Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And today, we're going to talk a little bit of Georgia Southern. Not much to talk about with the Falcons. We know what happened. They lost to the Saints, but they are still above on top of the division. Get the kicking game going. I think we'll be fine. I talked about that in a video on YouTube. So outside of that, they should be okay. They should be okay. We'd like to get some more pass rush, but they should be okay. Let's talk about Georgia Southern because something happened last week, and we're going to talk going forward when it comes to that big news of Dexter Williams leaving Georgia Southern, entering the transfer portal, and what could happen with this team going forward. So let's get into that. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I appreciate everybody who's been watching and listening to the show as of late. You guys are absolutely awesome. I cannot thank you guys enough. Also, if you want to follow me on X or Twitter at VFBaller, over there I talk about things that don't necessarily make it to the show. Also, I talk about things that, on my gaming channel as well. So hopefully you guys can check all that out. I really, really, really would appreciate it. And I thank you in advance. Hopefully you guys will subscribe to the channels. It's just subscribe to me on Spotify or Apple. Any of those places, really would appreciate it. All right, Dexter Williams, November 5th, he left Georgia Southern after winning a couple of games for Georgia Southern, coming in after being down against Marshall, coming in to beat South Alabama, two formidable foes that we played against, where it looked like we were down and out. And I guess he did not want to lose his eligibility for an extra year or for the year, so he ended up leaving and he went into the transfer portal. Personally, I think he's going to be fine wherever he goes. Hopefully, it's not in the Sun Belt. Hopefully, he goes somewhere in the at a Power 4, Power 5 school, and we won't have to really worry about him. And it's kind of a little bit of bittersweet because I thought Dexter Williams really played well, possibly in some cases actually be QB1. And what does that mean for Georgia Southern going forward? Well, to be honest with you guys, I think Coach Clay Helton kind of painted himself into a corner. And there's nothing to take away from J.C. French, nothing to take away from Tyler Budge. And, a lot of people talking about Tyler Budge think he's a pretty solid quarterback, even as a true freshman. And nothing to take away from Trey Townsend. But I think when you have a quarterback that already was galvanizing the team and putting a little bit of spark and energy with the team, and you let that player go, or I ain't going to say necessarily let him go, but when he ends up leaving, especially under these circumstances, it could be a huge loss. So going forward, you got to play Troy, Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State to finish out the season. You don't want to be in a situation where just by happenstance, and we've seen it before, where J.C. French could get injured or he just doesn't play up to his abilities, and we're just being behind in a game, and you putting everything on the shoulders of a true freshman. Not to say that it can't happen, or it won't happen in a negative light. But when you do have the backup as somebody like, that somebody hasn't played yet, you kind of got better chances when you have a Dexter Williams on your team. And I feel like this could be a problem for Georgia Southern if something like that was to happen again. J.C. French is not playing at the par, or you have a situation where he gets injured and you put everything on the shoulders of a true freshman, or with Trey Townsend, because I can't remember his status. But when you looking at those guys, the quarterback room is not a bad, quarterback room is not a bad room. I mean, you got some talent there, but you clearly saw with Dexter Williams the veteran, or the leadership that for somebody who's been around for 4+ years. And, you see that it just came out immediately. And with Coach Clay Helton, we all talked about the collapse of Georgia Southern late in the season. This could be a situation where it could happen if by chance J.C. French go down or something else could, transpire. Now, I like our chances against the last three teams. Troy, Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State has been, haven't had the best season so far, but nevertheless, these are still Sun Belt teams that play very well. We thought that, Old Dominion. We thought Old Dominion was going to be a team that we could just go in and beat, and look what happened. We kind of got beat up pretty bad in that game. So it's not necessarily far fetched that we could be in trouble in any of these games, regardless if JC French is playing well or not. It's just a part of the game. So you would want all your players firing on all cylinders. You want the best of the best out there. And nothing to take away from JC French, but Dexter Williams has kind of proven himself. So he kind of proved himself like, look, we were down a few games, and when I came back, and albeit, the defense stepped up, got a couple of fumbles here and there, a couple of turnovers. They did what they were supposed to do. Nothing to take away from them, but somebody still got to throw that ball around so we can get into the end zone. We still got to make things happen so we can put points on the board. If those turnovers don't mean anything if we can't do nothing with the ball, and vice versa. So it's kind of a give and take. But I do like the fact that when Dexter Williams was in the game, just the team in general, offense and defense, just felt like they were, it just seemed different. And you kind of see that with the JC French thing, but you didn't see it on that level with Dexter Williams. It's like a presence that some quarterbacks have when they're in the huddle. And JC French is I think he's a sophomore now, or junior, and it takes time to build that type of presence, on the field, especially when you're a quarterback or whatever the case may be. And next year, it may be his time to have that presence where he has that overbearing, factor about him where everybody just, rallies around him. And that's what I saw out of Dexter Williams. But when you talk about the rest of the team, not necessarily players on the field, but the coaching staff, because the players on the field, we kind of know, like we got a pretty good squad from the running backs to the safeties. We got a pretty good team. But when you look at the coaching staff, this is a lot riding on this. He went with JC French day one, and JC French has played fairly well throughout the season. There was a couple of times where we kind of thought JC French wasn't the guy, and then sometimes he looked absolutely phenomenal playing, under center or playing, as quarterback. But the health issue is something to think about. You don't want, he's been knocked out of 2 games already. You don't want that to happen again. So we need to protect. If we protect him and he plays well, all bets are off. But we just have to make sure he's protected, because as much as I like Tyler Budge, I thought he was a phenomenal quarterback coming out of North Carolina. But you really don't want to. I mean, if you have to, you have to. You really don't want to put that much weight on a kid's shoulder this late in the season. That's the type of thing that you would want to put on a kid when he's just starting, beginning of the season. But this late in the season where a lot is really on the line. I mean, you got to understand, it's not just us going to a bowl game or us getting to winning the Sun Belt. You got to understand, Coach Clay Helton basically faltered. I mean, his coaching record has faltered at Georgia Southern after winning 6 games. I mean, there were times we were 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, 6-5. Before you know it, you're 6-7. You're looking up like, what happened? After 2 6-7 seasons, you will want this to be the year that you win 8-9 games, and you have the potential to do it now. The main thing is you just got to make sure you're doing it with the situation with JC French and the way that he's going to play, and hopefully he stays healthy the entire time. Because the last thing you want was for something like that would happen to him where he's injured and he can't, go, and then you're not necessarily scrambling to make something happen, but a lot of things will change. Now, I know a lot of people said, I think Coach Clay Helton said it himself, like he feels that Tyler Budge could be ready to go, and it's possibly true because some of these freshmen come out and they play phenomenal. It's nothing that you say that they can't, but when you have somebody like Dexter Williams that was here and you saw what was happening, it's very difficult to unsee that. So maybe, they know something we don't know, but at the same time, you want to have that thought process. But the last couple of years, we had Van Treese, which was good for us. And you see what happened with Davis Brin, okay. You know what I mean? And then you have another veteran quarterback that actually was playing fairly good. Really good, and he walks out the door. So it's a lot riding on this, a lot. Some people may not want to admit it. Some people may not want to talk about it, but it's a lot riding on this situation. with Dexter Williams transferring out. I believe in JC French personally. I think he can get it done. I think these next 3 games he should be able to ball out and look really good. I just hope that he is protected and not get hurt. Even if Tyler Budge has to come in the game, hopefully that they have the playbook ready for him to succeed and put the ball in places that are safe. But there's no doubt with Dexter Williams walking out the door, it stings a little bit. It does. But I think we should be fine. I really do. I think JC French should be fine as long as he's healthy. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I can't thank you guys enough for the support. You guys have been absolutely awesome. And we're just going to keep it moving and keep it rolling. So hopefully everything plays out. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.